Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. And as your vacation maximizationer, I'm going to make sure you hear the maximum sizzle of Comfort Inn's free hot breakfast. Let's get real close. Maximum apple. Now that's fresh crispimization. Maximum waffle. Hear that crunch. And that's maximum coffee. Oh yeah, that's the pour I'm talking about. Breakfast maximized before hitting the road. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
In golf, precision is everything, on and off the course. PGA of America chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business for smooth operations and seamless transactions. Together, we enhance ticketing and concessions for better fan experiences from gate to green. This is pro-level efficiency. This is PGA of America with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances need replacing fast, Best Buy has your favorite brands in stock and available now. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? What? Who did that? That's always what I was doing. I was just giving you a little fake out. I was using this as a moment to promote that this isn't the only show we do. We have other ones.
So many.
We have so many. We make so much content for you. And if you're like, hey, I need a good podcast. I need someone to listen to. Because I've had to give up some of them because you have a conscience. Mm-hmm. Guess what? We also have one too.
Yeah.
And we're here for you.
We're here. We've got many thoughts and opinions on many different subjects. So if you want news, entertainment, politics, TV show recommendations, gossip, like we cover it all. Everything. We're basically like E-News. Or like the network E.
Okay. I was going to say.
That's what I meant. I said E-News, but I meant.
I was like, that's a specific segment of one of those.
Yeah. I meant E.
Yeah.
But I do think E covers pretty much everything I just said, though. So maybe I do just mean E-News.
I did teach with the Mott's what the soup was last night. He was like, what's that?
I feel like he would be obsessed with the soup. I
literally was like, the soup is like quite literally like your personality in a show.
Yes.
And he's like, oh. I get why you'd say that. I was like, yeah, this is
because
your...
you are on a Joe McHale kick now?
Yeah. I just can't get into Community.
I never could either.
I've tried because I love him, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I've had a hard time getting into it.
Mm-hmm. And you know that I've been a fan of the soup since it was Talk Soup.
Yeah.
And Aisha Tyler was the host of it. An icon.
An absolute fucking icon. Also, I saw on Wikipedia, which I never really made the connection, but it's very true, that the soup popularized reaction videos. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, that was like the first...
Maybe they should have trademarked it.
Oh, my God. The way I will never get over that. Like, there's a couple things I'll never get over. The Fine Brothers trying to trademark the word react is fucking insane to me. The founder of Merit Beauty posting a voter's guide, which is, by the way, this is a makeup brand posting a voter's guide, which is like a pro Rick Caruso Republican thing. And then be like, no, I care about other people. I just don't want to have to pay I don't want to pay taxes on my $4 million home. I will never forget about that. And every time I see anyone talk about her makeup, I'm like, hello, no. And what else? There's a lot of things that I can't let anyone live in peace with it.
Did you see? I sent it to you, but you didn't respond to it. So I don't know if you actually watched it. I know, but did you see the video I sent you with Mario Lopez?
No.
Please watch it.
I hate that man.
I know, and I feel like this will be great for you.
I hate that man. And if anyone wants to know why, it's because he was rude to me one time.
But also, like, he has SA allegations against him, and this woman is currently, like, in the last 2 days have she works at NBC, and she's like, I'm using NBC's Wi-Fi to file my lawsuit against Mario Lopez, and she's on TikTok doing it.
Love that. Love that for her. Yeah, he's just like, there's some people when you meet when they are rude, like, because there's other people who I've met who like weren't like friendly, and like that's fine. But like when you know that like someone is going out of their way and like taking time out of their day, like the way that this man didn't, he could have just moved on with this, that like he took the time to like try and make me feel bad, like just go out of that. I was like, okay, you are like, you're enjoying being a dick on purpose, and you're going to take time out of your day to ensure that you know that I know that you are being an asshole to me. Do you know what I mean? Versus like someone who's just a little more like, you know, like, oh, they didn't spend that much time talking or whatever. I was like, I didn't want to keep talking to this motherfucker. Leave me alone, meanie. So, and he looks plastic. I would like to say, though, I think he's the first person who got the Lindsay Lohan, Kris Jenner, and I think he had it in about 2013. Like, whatever he did to his face at that time, it was not skin.
Yeah.
It was shiny, cold, hard. Just like Regina George's monologue. What is this? No, Katie Heron's. Shiny, hard, plastic. A piece for you, a piece for you. Your hair looks like it took hours, which, by the way, her hair did not look like it took hours.
What are you talking
In Mean Girls?
I don't know what that is.
A piece for Gretchen Wieners. You know this. But at the end, when she gives it to a girl who has like, that updo looks beautiful. It must have taken hours. It does not look like it took hours. That to me, I was like, okay, don't be mean. It felt shady.
But she had been gone. She doesn't know how long it actually takes to do hair.
Do you mean she was in a rural village in Africa? Is that what you mean? That she doesn't know how?
She doesn't know how long it takes to do white people's hair. Because if she saw this on a black person, it would have taken hours.
Sure. I just don't think that she thought there was any similarities between that white woman and the black woman she would have seen with that hair.
But she just thinks it's hair.
Well, she doesn't see color.
Right.
That's Katie Heron. You heard it first. Canonically, Katie Heron.
Yeah.
Doesn't see
and
color.
I feel like for her, it's okay to say.
No, yeah. Because she means it.
Yes.
And also because it's true. Maybe she's colorblind. Maybe it's a little bit true. So, anyways, welcome to But Am I Wrong?
But Am I Wrong?
And if you don't know what this podcast is, welcome. Hello, hi. We gave you a rundown. Like, we're talking about a lot of shit. We all forms of gossip and fun things, but we have 3 different segments. We will explain each one before we get into it. But what you need to know is we want you to participate. So you can participate in many different ways. You can submit things that we ask for. So, you know, you can write in for different segments. We will explain all of those before them, so you're not overwhelmed with information. But overall, the best way to participate is voting in who you think was wrong in each segment on this episode. So we do stories on our Instagram. We put them in a little highlight as well, and they are polls. And you vote, this person was wrong, this person was not wrong, and then write in, respond, just reply to the story, why you voted the way you did, your thoughts, your feelings. And I will say, as of late, we have had people who we've like talked about that their write-ins, and then they've given us an update by the time that we do our Tuesday episode, which is See You Next Tuesday, where we read the results of the previous episode. So sometimes we'll have like questions about like, how did this go down, or an update with something pop culture related. And by the time we have that, we're recording that, we've got another update there for you. So it's a grand old good old time.
All right. So shall we get into our first segment?
Yes, we shall.
This segment is But Am I Wrong? That's when we pick something in our lives that we may be wrong about, or rant, or anything that we just think needs to be discussed more. And then we vote on if we're wrong or not in the situation. And Megan, you're up first today.
Mine is, I would say, a plea to people. It is also what I think should be started as a movement. It should be phone a friend, tell them this today, and let's take one step forward. And in short, it is, men, please don't be creepy. And here's the thing, creepy has motivation. Creepy also has a complete lack of thought, a complete lack of regard. And this is a story that I almost even told you on yesterday, I think we were recording. I almost told you yesterday, but I was like, no, I'm going to save this for this. Because like, I don't think I'm wrong about this at all. But it made me, like, when I talked to Moss about this afterwards, he was like, well, what do you want to do about this? I was like, I just want you to know that, like, this can happen and just be aware of this. And so, like, don't participate in this unknowingly, because people participate in it knowingly and unknowingly. And so I was taking a walk around the neighborhood, and I've been trying to get better at, like, not walking at, like, the same time in the same area. Yeah. And, like, I cannot stress enough how safe of a fucking area I live in. Like, I live in an incredibly safe neighborhood. We know all of our neighbors. Like, we know I see all the same people. Like, there are people who take walks at the same time every day. I don't run into a couple neighbors that I talk to. Like, it's a small area.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and be cognizant of that. And like, I never walk when the sun is like down, or I don't even like to walk when the sun's going down to the point where like, it's too high to be in your sun shield. So like, I don't want to get hit by a car. Like, I'm deeply fucking aware of this, of just like the safety in regards to like cars as well as like people. I don't wear headphones when I'm on a walk. And this is like not like victim blaming or like taking about personal responsibility at all. It's just like, I want to stress like how aware I am and how that's not unfucking common. Like a lot of women are. So I don't wear headphones. Like I like listen to things like on my phone, not very loud, but like out loud. So like whatever. And anytime there is like a car coming from behind me, I always stop, look at them and wait for them to pass. I don't like keep walking with my back to the car as the car's back behind me. I grew up on a hill and I walked up and down that hill. It's just like it's a car safety thing too. Don't keep walking if you can see a car and you're not sure if they can see you. So that's like what I always do. And I have like run into like neighbors and stuff who like I have been like far away, like male neighbors who've been far away who like I've not like smiled at. And then when they got closer, I'm like, oh my God, hi, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was you. And they're like, that's fine. Like I wasn't personally offended by that at all. But as I was on my walk, there was a lot of other people out on walks. So I wasn't like feeling any type of way about it. But then this car was driving. And so I did what I do. I stopped and I waited. I like turned to look for them, waiting for them to go. And he just stayed in the car and stared at me. And I was like, waiting. And then the person who was on the street at the same time as me had crossed. But now there was another person with a big dog who I know. And I was like, okay, they're on the opposite side of the street, but I've seen them around a lot. I'll keep walking. And so, but I'm walking slow as fucking hell. And then finally a car comes up behind this car and then they start driving. But they're driving the slowest you've ever seen a car drive fucking ever. Like so slow. And gets to the stop sign. And it's like as if they're waiting for me to turn, decide what way I'm going for them to go. And I'm like, I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm waiting. Like, you pick your fucking thing. Turn down a street. I go down a different street that I don't normally go down. Within like 2 minutes, suddenly the car is there again.
Oh, no.
And I was like, okay, maybe they're a delivery driver and they're lost, like something, whatever. And I'm just like, and again, there's lots of other people on the street. There's people and their kids and stuff. And I'm talking to them. And so the car is like driving slow, but like a little bit ahead of me now. And I'm just really taking my sweet ass fucking time. And then they pass again because another car comes up behind them. They have to go a little faster. And then it happens another time after that. A similar thing happens. And then a fourth time it happens. And I'm like, and now I notice that I'm on the driver's side and their windows roll down and they're just staring at me as they're driving so fucking slow.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, now I'm not going to look at you because I'm not going to look at you. I've already had a look of what you look like. I'm not going to look at you. And I'm like deeply uncomfortable. And I see that they have like pulled over behind another car that's like, it's a big car, this car they're driving. They pulled over behind another car that's also big that I'm like, I can still fucking see you. And at this point, the sun's not like starting to go down, but like it is the time where like I've now taken 2 detours. So I'm on a much longer walk than I would have. And I would have already wanted to be back inside. And so I'm so close to our house. Like I am like right there. And I'm like,
but you also don't want them to know where you live.
Yeah. And so an Amazon truck comes and then this car has to move from where they are. And then I see them move and I just see them go right into the corner, turn around the corner. So it's a blind spot where I, as a pedestrian, would walk. And then suddenly it's just right there. Mm-hmm. And it's a minivan. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I almost had said something to this guy who I don't know, but like he lives in the neighborhood. And if I had to pick a white man that I didn't know to be like, hey, I'm a little creeped out, he's someone I would have felt comfortable saying that to. But I was like, should I just walk across? Like, should I just like, whatever, I can like text my neighbors and like if something, and I was like, no, Megan, you're feeling safe enough to be like, I can just make this like literally it's a half a block. I can make that really quick because I can text my neighbors something. And I was like, no, Megan, you feel safe to do that because of your neighbors. So utilize that ahead of time. So I turned back around and I texted in a group chat with the neighbors I'm closest to, minus Mott's, because I didn't want him to freak out. And then if he's calling me and I'm like, well, I don't want to be on my phone. I want to be like aware. And I texted saying, is anyone home and could meet me on this certain street before our street? I'm probably being paranoid, but there's a guy in a white van who kept, quote unquote, happening to be near me my whole walk. And they all know that I take walks around this time. Mm-hmm. They all like, you know, I see them in their windows waving when I get home to like make sure I'm okay. And so they all say, yeah, I'll pop out. They're, when I say Avengers Assemble, one of them, they have their dogs. One of them, golf club, literally just walking it, just like looking around. And I like heard them before I even saw them. And the car has like, is still where it is. And now by the time that I've rounded the corner, they all are there before I am, which was very nice and helpful. Another neighbor came out and was like, you know, we're all just like talking and being very casual about it. And like one of the guys who came down was like asking like, hey, who, you know, what does it look like? What's a person? Like, let's. And I basically indicated it was that minivan, and it was, you know, this guy who looked like that. But I was like, I don't know, you know, I don't know. And all the women were like, yeah, no, like even if it was just a delivery driver or whatever. And so he was out of the car at this point and like walking around, like holding something that like it didn't look like a delivery, but it didn't like not look like a delivery. And he was like on the phone, but then it also looked like he was like taking a video, but we think he was like FaceTiming. And then another neighbor came out and was like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's that guy who lives in that house there. And like, I understand being a nosy neighbor. I understand if there's someone in your neighborhood you like have not seen before. If you are a man and you are in a minivan and your response to being nosy or even just, oh, I'm going to drive around in the car talking on my phone. If there's even a logical explanation of this whatsoever, you need to know that you are creeping other people out. Yeah, even if it's a completely innocent thing. Because initially one of the guys was like, I bet it's a delivery driver. And the other guy was like, I'm pretty sure that's a guy who lives there. And I was like, I don't like that as much. And the other guy was like, yeah, I think that's worse. Like that's fucking weirder. Does
mean that he probably has seen you before and it feels like he's following you around.
Well, and I've never seen this person before. And like, I'm not even sure if someone lives in that house like full time or like whatever. And like, I could totally understand being nosy and being interested. But like, as a man, you do not get to be nosy in a fucking van driving slowly when you see that. And so like what I told Moss, I was like, and like the whole thing for everybody, tell the local men in your life. Yeah. Cross the street if you see a woman walking down the street alone. Walk the other direction. Do something like that. The way that like literally the week before, I was like, oh my God, this guy is like, this is the complete opposite. Man with a stroller, big ass stroller, like one of those expensive, heavy fucking ones. He sees me walking down the street and he like waits for me to go and like picks the other direction. So he's not going the same way as me. And that is, I'm right now, automatically in general, I'm a man with a stroller or a man with like a operating heavy machinery. I'm like, yeah, there's something you gotta maneuver. This is to me is not my number one threat in this situation. And even that, I was like, you're going to go up a hill with a stroller so you know that you're not gonna, just to make sure I don't feel uncomfortable. And like my gay guy friends do that too, of being like making sure that like I don't want anyone to think that I'm following them or anything. And it's like, it's not a matter of like, oh, I think that because you are a man you are being creepy or whatever, but like
you could be.
You are doing the exact same behavior of someone who is creepy. Yeah. So do not do that. Be deeply aware of that. And like Matsu, he's like, that's a really good point. He's like, at night, I like always make sure that if I'm like accidentally look like I'm following someone, he's like, I'll take a wrong turn and do something like that. Or if I'm like walking alone at night and there's someone like a woman walking alone, like I steer so clear. But he was like, I don't think I'm as cognizant of that in the daytime. That he's like, but I'm without a doubt going to do that because like that's fucking stressful. Like that is just fucking weird. And I just wish more fucking people thought about that because like all of the women who I called who like came, they were like, oh yeah, I've done this so many times. And they were all like so glad that I texted them and I felt so happy and so great because like I did not have this relationship with other neighbors. I've never had this relationship with neighbors where I could be like, hey, and they all came within.
The last neighbors were scary.
Those were who I was fucking afraid of.
Those who you were afraid of, yeah.
I didn't want to catch her in a fucking alleyway. And like, so they like showed up so quickly, but like even the guys were like, oh, I didn't realize like how that could be like creepy. Like, did he say something? I was like, no, but and like the women were like, no, you just know, like you notice when there is a car like that. And like, we go out of our way to make sure other people don't feel uncomfortable. And like, it would be so lovely if men did that. And like, if that sometimes means, yeah, you can't drive around your neighborhood aimlessly. Sometimes that means you you can't be as nosy. Sometimes it means like you just have to do it a little bit fucking differently.
You got to have a plan.
Yes. And just like, don't freak people out. And then when you can clearly tell that I am getting like freaked out, that, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, retreat into all of that, because I will never be that person who's like, oh, it was totally harmless. I'm reading too much into it, so therefore I'm going to change my actions. I'm always going to treat you like you are a creep if you are acting like a creep. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I'm going to treat most people that I run into, most men I run into on the street, as being a creep until proven otherwise. So just assume that you are going to be treated like a creep. So do not act like a creep.
Right. Agree.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into mine. Is the state of the U.S. making you want to escape?
Yes. And you can take the first step and learn the language before you go. Who makes it easy, Melissa?
BAIW makes it easy.
We are so happy that we have a new sponsor. It is BAIW, and not to fangirl too hard. We begged BAIW. We said, BAIW, BAIW, we need you.
Our audience wants you and needs you and asked us, hey, who do you guys recommend for languages?
And we're happy to say it's BAIW.
Not only do sometimes I want to escape, but I also want to stay here and talk to the people here on the ground, especially in our state of California. So I want to brush up and make my Spanish stronger. I took Spanish throughout school. I took Spanish and French, but I really, really need to strengthen my Spanish. What about you?
Spanish is the language that I grew up in California. So like that is like you said, like from the time that I could talk, like the names of different streets. It was so like ingrained, handcrafted by over 200 language experts. Yeah, they are voiced by real native speakers.
Real people.
Oh, and they're built with science-backed cognitive tools like spaced repetition and interactive features to fit any learning style. I'm a big fan of BAIW games. This girl loves a game.
We both love games.
And like the sentence building stuff. So having it be in like a game format makes me feel, it doesn't make me feel like I'm learning. It doesn't make me feel like I'm being scolded in school. I'm just like learning something new, but I'm mostly playing a game.
We want you to learn another language, so we're teaming up with BAIW to give you 55% off subscriptions, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/don'tblameme.
Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/don'tblameme, spelled BABBEL.com/don'tblameme.
Babbel.com/don'tblameme.
Rules and restrictions may apply. Fresh air, sunshine, and good food. That's what spring is all about. See how I didn't include spring cleaning in there? That's not my favorite. But one of our favorites is HelloFresh. We love HelloFresh. They make it easier to fit quick, home-cooked meals into your schedule every single week by curating delicious recipes. Like they have a pasta primavera, chicken Dijon, and pecan-crusted trout. Okay, fancy. As well as over 100 seasonal snacks, sides, and treats. In 2025, they're evolving to fit every lifestyle by bringing customers even more convenience. And you know, we love convenience here. All without compromising on taste or the homemade quality. They've got new ready-made meals, which offer chef-crafted flavorful dishes that are ready in just, drumroll please, 3 minutes. Every HelloFresh meal uses high-quality ingredients, including seasonal fresh produce and proteins that travel from farm to your doorstep. Plus, the deliveries are super flexible, so you can pause or skip when you need. We have been huge fans of HelloFresh here for so long. You already know that. We love them. I have made so many delicious things. We recently had like a pork mushu lettuce wrap. Oh, when I tell you, it might be going in my personal HelloFresh Hall of Fame. Feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule and make this season even more delicious. Go to HelloFresh.com/blameme10FM to get 10 free meals with a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
If you've ever shopped online, and let's face it, who hasn't? Chances are you've bought something from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes things easier, and not just for shoppers. They make it easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. It gives you a leg up from day dot with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style so you can get up and running fast. You can tackle your important tasks from inventory to payments to analytics and more, all in one place. You can also spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools built for you to find and keep new customers. And remember that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already know and love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
We are back. It is time for yours. Take it away.
All right. Well, I want to start by playing a short audio clip that I'm sure that everyone listening will recognize.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm saying
there's more jobs to be
in LA, they all...
I'm addicted to the reactions of the entire... It's like a Wendy Williams audience. Oh.
So that was Kelly Osbourne, if you were unfamiliar, speaking on The View nearly a decade ago, August 4th, 2015. And if you heard those gasps and oohs and ahs, you heard the immediate public reaction to a sentiment that was and remains deeply problematic. Today, I want to talk about something crucial: the language we use, the narratives we perpetuate, and the urgent need to recognize the full humanity of every individual. First, let's start here. If you find yourself shocked and appalled by the actions and rhetoric of certain political figures, particularly Donald Trump, when it comes to immigration, I have to tell you haven't been paying attention. For decades, he has been explicitly stating his intentions, laying out precisely what his plan was to do. His words have consistently foreshadowed his actions, and there is no surprise, only a continuation of a long-held, publicly declared agenda. Now, let's pivot for a second. And perhaps more insidious point. All too often, in an attempt to defend immigrants, we hear well-meaning but ultimately damaging rhetoric, statements like, they're picking up the immigrants who stand outside the Home Depot, or they're the ones picking our fruits and vegetables, or they're the ones building our houses, or taking care of our kids. Even seemingly positive assertions like they contribute significantly to the economy and pay taxes can be framed incorrectly and fall short. Here's why this is so critical. When you go around repeating this kind of language, you sound exactly like Kelly Osbourne in that clip. And frankly, you deserve to be booed too. Immigrants, and more specifically, brown Latinos, who are the ones disproportionately targeted in the current climate, are not defined solely by their service jobs. They are not merely economic units or interchangeable laborers. Latinos are people. They are complex individuals with dreams, families, talents, and inherent dignity. They deserve respect, period. Seeking asylum or coming to this country for a better life is not illegal. Undocumented people are not less than. They are human beings, point blank, period. Moreover, by repeating this sentiment, by reducing immigrants to their perceived utility, you inadvertently play right into the very hands of those who seek to dehumanize them. Do you remember during the debate around this time last year when Donald Trump uttered this line? They're taking Black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs. And you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be worse in our history. So I asked you, what exactly is a Black job or Hispanic job? These are not real categories. This is divisive, dehumanizing language designed to pit communities against each other and strip individuals of their unique identities. In truth, the targeting and detention we're witnessing doesn't just affect blue-collar or domestic workers. It impacts college professors, people here on vacations, foster care children. The list tragically goes on and on. At the end of the day, these actions are about detaining human beings and brutally separating families. Anyone who fits the profile of who thinks is inhumane become a target. So let's be vigilant. Let's be conscious. Let's not contribute to this dehumanizing language, even inadvertently. Let us instead stand for the full, unwavering recognition of humanity in every single person, regardless of their origin, their job, or their status.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I've seen like a counter point to that of people being like, we are also like, there's like it's an insane amount of like a huge percentage of college students in general are first generation kids of first gen. Their parents, they are first generation immigrants, right?
But also first generation college students.
Yeah, but specifically within that of not just people who are like first person to go to college who are whose parents were born in the US, but like there's a huge majority of like people who have some of the most fucking degrees are first generation immigrants. And I agree with you in the sense of like that is without a doubt also very important. But like I also care about immigrants who like didn't go to college. Like I also care like all of that thing. So like there's this aspect of like manual labor of being like, look what they do for you. And then being like, well, on the other side, look at this high achieving sort of thing. And it's like, they're all valued without a doubt the fucking same. And like with anything, like I do not care what you do. I don't care what you contribute. I don't care what you provide. Like you are a human. I am also a human. And like it is, yeah, you know how I feel in general. And that's part of one of the things I'll get into later about people's feelings towards animals over humans. And like specifically the last couple of years with like the natural disasters, just to see the rhetoric around these random fucking animals versus how people talk about other humans. And they're like, find your compassion for these animals. I'm like, oh my God, you don't even have compassion. Like what?
You don't have compassion for the person next door.
You don't have compassion for your neighbors. Like you, and then you go on and then complain about a lack of community. And I'm like, that's what fucking happens. Like, what the fuck do you mean? And it's disheartening. And there's a lot of people who have like the right sort of like feeling. But like you said, like there's a time and a place. So when people want to say undocumented immigrants don't pay taxes, you can say, no, actually they do pay taxes. But being like, don't deport them. We need their money.
Right.
No. You're not wrong at all.
Thank you.
I would also just like love to give us a shout out for a second. And our audience, I hope you all are feeling a little bit cocky and confident. Now there's all of this discourse online about non-Californians learning about Gavin Newsom. And we've taught you all about him so long ago.
We've been talking about him for years.
So you already knew that he has a 2-week cycle of absolute menace, devil, horrible person, and then hot daddy that you're like, thank you so much, tuck the hair behind the ear. And I've just been seeing this online, being like, oh my God, finally learning about Gavin Newsom. And I just hope all of you who listen to this podcast, like see those videos and you smirk to yourself saying, I already knew about this. I already knew about this hot demon. Our next segment is But Are You Wrong? And this is where you write in with your predicament, the thing you want to know if you're wrong about, to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. You can also fill out the form that is in our social bios. It's also listed in the description notes for the podcast. And we need to know how old you are. The rest of it is anonymous, but give us good information and you have 300 words to do it. And that's it. If it's not 300 words,
try again.
Yep. You can write into the email, write a DM, write in the form. But regardless of how you write it, you have 300 words. If you're like, but I can keep typing. We can't keep reading. Our eyes close after 300.
And I've sent people messages. They haven't shortened. So I guess they've moved on.
And I promise you can get what you need to get. You can say what you need to say in 300 words. Okay. Am I wrong for not letting a student resubmit their paper? Oof, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm already thinking you're wrong, mostly because I was this student, but maybe for different reasons. So let's see. I, 29 female, am a graduate student instructor teaching a 20-person seminar course for college freshmen. For context, one of the 2 final papers was due last week and required the use of in-text citations and a reference page. Today, I messaged students reminding them to sign up for conferences with me for paper 2. One student, a freshman male, messaged me that he would set up the conference and explaining that he fell on and then broke his computer, and that for paper 1, all of his references were bookmarked on said computer. He asked for a chance to resubmit, but my policy is that students must email me at least one day before the deadline if they foresee needing an extension. I've always granted them, and I try to be approachable if students need help. I also show the students how to use a free online citation manager in my class. Oh, and noted on his rough draft that he had no references. And I have a link in my syllabus on how to check out loaner laptops from the university library. He says he did not foresee falling on his laptop, but it feels like more of a poor planning issue since he lost points on having no reference in his rough draft feedback that I released a week before the final paper number 1 was due. I advised him to turn in an already late deliverable for paper 2, which I extended to be due by end of day with no point off for lateness, and then make a meeting to get maximum points since both are part of the grade. Also, the excuse was very creative. Is it so wild that it might not actually be a lie? Should I have given him another chance?
I have thoughts.
Do you not bookmark? I didn't go to college all the way. Do you not bookmark like on a Google Chrome? Like, could it not be in like a login
That's what I was
thing?
about to say.
Okay.
If he was using any browser and signed into that browser, then those bookmarks are saved. So Google Chrome, whatever other browsers are out there, you usually at this point have to be signed into that browser, meaning you can access those bookmarks from any other computer that you can sign on to, from your phone, from if you have a tablet, anything that you're signed into, those bookmarks are going to be there. So I think that this is not a valid excuse. But for me, since he turned in the paper, but just didn't have the references, I would have given him an extension for that because the paper was done. The paper itself was done. The references just weren't turned in. Right?
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to figure out the difference between paper 1 and paper 2. Oh, he's just dealing with paper 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also, I guess it depends on like what it, like your note taking, if he like took all of his notes online and like he like did it in a document that wasn't like he didn't have a cloud saved or like anything like that, I could understand. But like at the end of the day, like you could search based on the facts and reverse reference, like find the references that way, I would think.
Yeah. But I could understand like you falling on your laptop and freaking out. Your first thought isn't like, let me go check out this other computer. It's like, let me try to solve this issue if this actually happened.
Yeah. To me, it is a crazy enough, as someone who has like made up every fucking excuse for like late stuff, but also who has had like crazy fucking freak things happen. To me, it is way too easily of a provable this didn't happen sort of a thing to like not buy it. So like
I would ask for proof.
But I also think that like if it's a 1 day extent, like he's a freshman, 1 day extension. I think it's like, okay, well, you have to do the reference pages. If he's basically now being like, well, now that I have this first one, if he's trying to just do paper number 2 because he feels like he lost time, that I would be like, well, I am going to deduct you for not having a reference page because like you didn't do that. But I think if like a 1 day, 2 day extension has him get in everything that he needs to get done and like the work is great, then I think that like, I don't think it should be like I won't accept the work. But I think if you deduct, I don't know, if it's like, you only give a 1 day extension without any point deductions and he needs a 3 day extension and you deduct a couple points for the second and third day, I think that's totally fine. But I think if someone's willing to do the work and not just have the excuse of why they couldn't do the work and then why they can't indefinitely do the work, then I think that like, don't accept incomplete work.
Because all they have to do is, as you were pointing out, is take the paper where he quoted things, referenced it, copy and paste it, put it in quotations, Google that, and then use that source to use that free online thing. I think this should take no more than 30 minutes to do.
Yeah, because it also in-text citations.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that is like
it's in the
direct
it should
quotes.
be in your work as it is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wait, so already late deliverable for paper 2.
The writer is still giving them a chance to turn in paper 2 a little bit late without any point deductions. So, like, can he not just turn it all in at the same time? Because one's late if they're coming at the same time. But I think this is something that you should ask proof for. Show me that your laptop's broken.
Well, I think, like, if you don't want any points docked off for tardiness, and this is truly an act of God, similar to insurance, have to show me that. Otherwise, I'll take your late paper. It's just going to be docked this X amount of points because it's late. But if you do the work, then do that. But I think in general, I don't know. If I was a teacher, I think I'd be more likely to take late work than unfinished work.
Yeah.
And
because with late work, that still shows that you comprehended what the lesson is. Unfinished work, I don't know what your final thoughts are.
Totally. And as someone who has like a better lesson for me, as someone who like would be more inclined to just like give up, like a better lesson for me is like, you can have an extension, but you have to finish it. That's a much better lesson, like life lesson to me than like, oh, well, if you didn't finish it, you're not going to get credit for it. So like you turn in what you have and I'm not going to accept it after this time period. Like that is, I don't also think it helps you be resourceful and like resilient in a way that like I think is effective, because a lot of resilience is built in like not undesirable circumstances and situations, but this is one that I think is actually constructive. So yeah, but in general, if something happened, like I would say that like believe people are telling the truth. As someone who, again, freak things happen, if they tell you, if they send you an email in the middle of the night, not necessarily the night before it's due, but it could be the night before, but it, like something where it's like, this is not within school hours, but if it's like, oh, my laptop broke yesterday, and your first thought wasn't to find a way to email your teacher, that to me, I would be like,
yeah,
no, that's not, yeah. So I don't think that you are I don't think you should I think your policy is giving him enough, there's enough wiggle room in there. As someone who like struggles with completing tasks and like who also as someone who like really struggled with school, but I think a day before, like that's even sometimes more generous than workout classes let you for canceling.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into the next one.
This episode is brought to you by Max. The HBO original comedy special, Gerard Carmichael, Don't Be Gay, is now streaming on Max. Emmy-winning comedian Gerard Carmichael returns to the stage in his boldest special yet, bringing his sharp wit, unfiltered honesty, and the kind of vulnerability that's made his voice truly one of a kind. Don't miss Gerard Carmichael, Don't Be Gay. Now streaming on Max.
That moment when you realize your skincare is actually working. That's Rodan & Fields, the #1 female dermatologist-founded skincare brand in the U.S. Designed by 2 dermatologists who don't just know women's skin, they know how to formulate for it. Rodan & Fields, love what you see. Tap the banner or visit rodanandfields.com/Spotify to get your exclusive welcome offer.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
We're back. Time for your pick.
Me, 18, she, her, and my friend had tickets for a concert. This is less than 3 weeks away now. After I messaged her asking her what she was planning on wearing, she said that she will probably do what she usually does and decide the week before. She then said, you're low-key gonna hate me, but I kind of don't want to go to summertime ball anymore. I'm sorry. What's summertime ball?
Who's playing?
Yeah, let me see.
Let me see.
Because that's gonna
change everything.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like Machine Gun Kelly, I don't want to go either.
Oh, no, I want to go to this.
Mariah Carey,
Will Smith.
Ugh, Benson Boone.
Yeah,
Lola
blah, blah,
Young.
blah.
What's KSI going to do there? Renee, Zara Lawson.
Right.
McFly.
I'm there on Will Smith, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and Mariah Carey alone. Okay. Yeah, I'm pissed. So now we've decided who the concert is for. Summertime anymore. I'm so sorry. I know you're going to hate me. Like, I've been thinking about it for ages and have been meaning to mention it. I feel bad because it's on Father's Day and no one's going to be here with my dad, but that's not the only reason. Whenever I think about going, I feel sick, all caps. And I've been in such a weird mood these past couple months and I just don't want to go. I can sell you the other ticket and you can still go with someone else, or I can just like sell them both. IDK, let me know, but I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I then ignored the message because I didn't know what to say. So just said, IDK, what you expect me to say, because I'm going to seem like a bitch if I say anything. A little backstory that's needed is that just this week, she has gone to 2 concerts. So I don't get how this mood affects ours in 2 to 3 weeks time, but didn't affect those as well as her having a concert the week after ours was in, which she's not canceling. I also feel upset that it wasn't mentioned until I said anything. I also feel guilty for feeling this way because I should be understanding, but another part is just pretty upset about the whole situation. Am I in the wrong for being annoyed at her over this?
Maybe she just really hates Benson Boone.
And I feel like that's a valid reason.
And if she said, I just can't be in the same room as Benson Boone, I can't see that motherfucker flip. Like, I will scream. My body will combust. Like, it's making me, I'm having hives, a physical reaction in my body. I would go, valid. Understandable.
And then he always, after he flips, he always adjusts his little leotard. And I don't want to see that.
Hold up. By the way, remember when I yelled at you for?
That was my first introduction to him.
Benson Boone came up. What was it on the timeline? It was something.
No,
about,
it was during the Grammys. That it was the first time I had ever seen him. I had never heard of him before. And
Melissa said something incredibly innocuous of being like, "Oh, that guy's got a nice voice."
Yeah.
And I said,
"Yeah,
shut it down."
And that was my first impression. And it is my prerogative to change.
And then anytime we were with anybody else who not even in our presence, but had previously historically said anything slightly positive about Benson Boone, Melissa would go, ask Meghan what she thinks about Benson Boone.
Yeah.
And then I've converted everybody and everyone, you're right. He does have rancid vibes.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah.
Again, that was the very first, I had heard that song on TikTok, never seen him. And that was my first impression of him.
Yeah. I don't think there's anybody, I think there's a lot of people who are like, I don't think that he's the worst. And then when he released the Moonbeam Ice Cream, they were like, oh, this is irredeemable.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she bought the tickets before the Moonbeam Ice Cream and then was like, I can't hear Moonbeam Ice Cream in fucking Wembley Stadium. That's an act against, that's a crime against humanity.
But in the big picture, I think that she's wrong because she's gone to all these other concerts.
Yeah, no, I have lots of questions
and then
about
continuing to go to more concerts. And if she's had these thoughts for months and feels sick about this, I don't think it's this concert. How is she in other realms of your friendship? Has she been there? Do you guys hang out on a regular basis?
Yeah, is it like the length of this concert, like the timeline? Like, is it like how you have to get there? Is it like the fact that it's like a whole day sort of a thing? Is it that it's outdoor? Like, what are any of those other factors? Because like I'm someone who I love to make plans. I also really love to cancel plans. Like,
I do not get mad when a friend texts me and says, you know what? I no longer want to go. But that's smaller plans. I feel like this is a big plan.
Well, And for me, I'm big on canceling, but like I'm more likely to prematurely cancel and then be able to do like have the energy to do it the next day. And like I will soft cancel things like a week ahead of time, being like, hey, I don't. Versus, I'm like, if someone wants to cancel, like when you're like an hour late to something, I'm just like, so I'm cool with but like we could have done this yesterday, and
I could have been in bed instead of having a full face of makeup on and clothes.
Because chances are, I also wanted to cancel, but like
for example, yesterday, I said, Megan, do you want to record in person?
And I said, can I make a game?
And I
always say, can I make a game time decision?
And I said, I'm perfectly fine.
And then you said,
recording.
I'm going to stop you right there. I would actually prefer if we did virtual. And I said, perfect.
And I could already see it on your face.
Yes. But like, I'm someone who like, I'm going to give myself a bigger buffer because I don't want to like, I would rather underbook myself than like overbook myself or overextend in that like situation. And like, I'd rather like prematurely cancel something or reschedule something because I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna, if I'm stressed about this now, I'm gonna be so much more stressed about it later on. But like, you got to do that the second that feeling strikes and that feeling hits you, not waiting along for it. And then I specifically, again, as somebody who's fine with people fucking canceling, because I cancel all the time, I get really fucking annoyed when I reach out to someone about something and then there's I've been thinking about this for a while and I go, are you fucking kidding? Like, I just talk about it. I verbalize how I feel in the moment. And like, you've been sitting on these feelings and not saying anything. And I had to bring it up in order to get to this conclusion. Like, that's not fair.
Right. I also don't like that she's just coming up with every excuse in the fucking book. Which tells me that you have no excuse, no actual excuse. Yeah. She's lying. So let's say like for Cowboy Carter, if Meghan would have canceled on me, I would have been mad. No, I actually wouldn't have been mad. I would have been like, okay, because there were 2 other people going.
Yes.
If it was just the 2 of us, it would have been a different story.
Totally.
I feel like, and the fact that she wants you to buy the ticket from her too pisses me off.
No, and then it's like, then it's your responsibility to find someone else to buy it from you.
At this point, you should just give me the ticket for free.
Yes.
That would be the only redeemable thing. But asking your friend to buy something where you're canceling last minute, that's a bitch ass move.
Well, I also think like a valid excuse is being like, hey, I realized that my dad's going to be alone on Father's Day. And like, it's just like the guilt is kind of like eating me up. And like, writer, you don't have to answer this kind of rhetorical question, but like, do you have a dad? Like, is that like a unique situation that they are in that you are not also in? Because like, if I had booked that with someone who like, we had a similar situation, I would have been like, what are you doing? Like, how are you rescheduling Father's Day? Like, I'm feeling guilty. Like, are you feeling guilt? Like, I would be like, let's talk this through together. In this, but like that is not a unique excuse. It is a fine excuse. If you're like, if it's just like, well, he's going to be alone, and like, you writer, if you've got a father-like figure in your life, they're not going to be alone on Father's Day, whatever. I can understand that could be an excuse, but like, say that needed to be weeks ago,
right?
And say it.
And again, like, they said they've been feeling this way for months.
Were the tickets like crazy expensive? Because I could understand if like spending a lot of money on them and then being like, I'm feeling sick about the cost, but then you just don't offload that to a friend.
No.
Yeah, no, I find this like incredibly inconsiderate.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have responded either. I would have like not known what to say the same way.
Yeah. So I would be reevaluating this friendship as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. There's something about people being very okay with wasting your money for like their own decision making about something that you were excited, like something that you were all doing. But then it's like, okay, suddenly now I'm paid for this and now I don't get to have this experience because why? Like, it's not fair. But you should still go and see if there's anyone else. And also like, it sounds like it's a kind of like a bigger thing. Like, do you know anybody else who might be in a different section that you could like swap, like sell a ticket to, like something like that? Like it could be.
Yeah.
But I'd be annoyed. this would change my friendship for foreseeable future until something else changed.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
What's worse than an ad interrupting your favorite music or podcast? That uninspired coffee you've been drinking while working, which is why Flavia is elevating your everyday coffee experience. Now you can enjoy cafe-quality beverages like coffee, tea, frothy lattes, and creamy hot chocolate made right in your home office, actual office, or wherever you want to upgrade your mug with bold, delicious flavors. Visit Flavia.com to shop the collection of machines and beverages now. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. How can you free up your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders to not only streamline purchasing, but better support their teams so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more about the technology, insights, and support available at amazonbusiness.com.
It's time for But Are They Wrong? Is where you nominate a person, place, or thing. Pop culture, current event, zeitgeist, not zeitgeist. Ugh, I would love for there to be another heist. Can't wait find out more about that Easter heist. I missed that one. And
we got the Kiki movie that's going to be a heist movie.
You know how excited I am. So, yes. And you can always nominate or tell us things you want us to talk about. Send us a DM. We might do it, we might not, but it's always helpful. And I would like to nominate people who have parasocial relationships with dogs on the internet.
Whew.
It could truly be any sort of fucking animal online, anywhere. Having a parasocial relationship, I think, with another human online is I get that. I don't understand having a parasocial relationship with children online. That predatory.
Weird.
Really fucking weird.
I've had to cuss a few people out online about Blue Ivy.
No. By the way, Blue Ivy is strict. Her mother is strict. You're gonna... Why? The idea that, for a fun... Something to get likes, and I go... She sees everything. You think you're gonna say something... You're gonna say something fucking weird, and then you think that's gonna be taken as oh, sweet.
No.
No, you're a stranger on the internet. It's gonna be taken as it is. Weird. Did you also see that she said Little Debbie's name a bunch of times at the show?
Mm-hmm. Which again, it's not even her real name.
No, I know. When I realized that, when someone commented that, and I was like, shit, what is her name?
I told you, remember?
No,
because I said Bougie Brown came up with it, and then she changed everything about her internet persona. That put her on the map.
Yep. I fully don't even know what her name is.
I forgot. I knew it because I was following her before she changed it, but I forgot.
I don't think she cares. She's like, no,
this is who I am
Little
now.
Debbie to you motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this is from, all of this sparked from a dog who was fostered and is now with their owners at their new home. And the dog's name is Tiki. And Tiki was fostered by Isabella Klee, who is pretty big on socials and stuff, really for fostering dogs. And people have fallen in love with a lot of the dogs that she's fostered. She fosters a lot of high medical needs, very difficult case ones, and essentially dogs that if they're not able to be rehabbed with her or someone who is at her level of fostering and rehabbing of dogs, they will most likely be medically euthanized. She's very good at this. Is what she's done. She's done this for years and years. And she's also has I don't know if her book is out, but she's got a whole book that's I think her memoir is written through the dog, through the eyes of the dogs that she has fostered over the years, which I'm that's a really smart and interesting way to do that. So she like lets people come along to this, and she works like very close hand in hand with the rescues. And the rescue that she works with is Muddy Paws, and she's in New York. And so people follow her. They've like fallen in love with like multiple fosters that she's had, and like, you know, she has to give them up. And she documents like she did like day 41 with Tiki. Like she does all of this stuff. She shares all of this stuff with people, and she respects like the privacy of like the specific like dog's history and like all of this stuff. Like she's very, very good at this and very like measured with this. And I will say she's like one of the few animal people that I can follow that I'm like, I don't think that she would ever say abandon your family and take the cat off the side of the road. Like she's a very rational and like clearly intentional person with this. So her like latest dog, who's the one who like went the most viral. And again, she's had a bunch of these that have gone like very, very viral. She's very well known. But the one that went so viral was this dog, Tiki. And Tiki was like the highest needs foster that she has ever had. And it was like really not looking good that like he was not going to be able to be adopted and that he's behaved like all of this stuff. It was just, he like wasn't eating. So like, it was like, he's not going to survive this because like, he's completely shut down. And through her hard work in like 41 days, which by the way is a long time to fucking foster. And I think like people are like skewed in the sense because like a lot of, and she like made a video talking about this, but like a lot of rescues have put up these like completely like ridiculous and like not beneficial or like science-backed barriers being like, you have to own a home to adopt one of our dogs. You have to have a fenced-in backyard. You have to live in a nice neighborhood. And like all these things, like, so it has people skewed the idea of what fostering is supposed to be. Because a lot of people now foster dogs for way longer than like is like scientifically backed. You don't want the dog to then be so attached that they can't go to another place. All of this stuff. So it was already a relatively long foster. And they had over 500 applications. And the rescue, like, you know, they go through and they pick them. And she did a video, like, and she, you know, Tiki got Tiki's new family. And one of the questions she had asked was like, you know, a lot of people would love to know, just to keep up with Tiki. Like, would you ever be open to like having a social media account? And she was like, I don't know. I'm not like really big on, I don't really do socials, not really big on TikTok, but like, you know, if that's in like, yeah, maybe, but like was not like gung ho on it. Does not have a personal account. And after begging from all these people, the people who adopted Tiki made an account. And now there are fucking people making think pieces. And might I say, monetized think pieces about how it feels like these people are clout chasing Tiki. Tiki is a dog. You think people, they're like, they should have had multiple home visits. Like they should have like, I just feel like this is like, these people are just trying to get famous. And like, this feels like they're really just, this is like really usy. And then they start using the terminology, just like, I'm just really sad that Isabel rehomed the dog. That's not rehoming. That was not her dog. That was never her dog. I'm sorry, what? Like, what? And now the owners, after people begged them to make a fucking account where they could follow Tiki's progress. Because again, like, you want to, and I learned all this from Isabel's video, but like, it's like rehab. Like you want some, like there are steps you have to implement after. Like you are not like, a dog is not fully quote unquote cured. Like she's like, the dog's always going to be a skittish dog. Dog's always going to be an anxious dog. Like it is about how we deal with this. But like the dog has come out of, like Tiki's come out of his shell exponentially more in like 3 days. It took like 3.5 weeks for Tiki to get to that level with his, and she's like, yeah, so it clearly worked. This is the right time. This is the time that like they want you to, again, science-backed, research-based. This is the time that you have the dog out, and there are milestones that dogs need to reach before they can be adopted. Like they're pulling into credibility the rescue of like, they didn't vet these people, all of this kind of shit. And these owners are now getting hate on social media when they only made a fucking account because people begged them to.
Yeah, this is fucking weird.
It's fucking weird. And they're like, they're just trying to use him for money and on clout. And I go, with this monetized video that you made about this, about your parasocial relationship with a fucking dog.
The only animal that I ever liked on TikTok was Curious George the monkey. That was somebody's pet. And it was really, I liked more the owner's personality and how he interacted with George. And when George died, I did shed a tear, but it didn't disrupt my day. And I wasn't making think pieces on how they could have done something better to keep George alive. Because that's none of my business. And I don't even know how or why George died. But he was a monkey.
I don't know. And I also think like objectively in like the current event that we're in right now, like to have these people like be like, I actually need to make a multi-part think piece on a dog who got adopted and like how this is inhumane. And I'm like, that right now in current events, that's what you think is the most inhumane thing that you need to talk about. Like, yeah, it just like makes me irate because it pulls into question, like it pulls the integrity of the fucking rescue organization, obviously the people who adopted him. And then also like, I can't imagine the pressure and stress that Isabel feels because they're not putting blame on her. They're basically saying that she rehomed the dog, but like you are putting into question like her responsibility. But then also she's the one who like platformed this rescue. She's the one who like, because she platformed this dog, that now these owners are getting hate. Like she probably feels a fuck ton of responsibility for all this hate that people are sending.
And if these people love this dog so much, why didn't they adopt it themselves?
And it's like they wanted her to keep the dog. And it's like, that's not how fostering works.
That's not how fostering works. Fostering is a bridge until they find a forever home. And it takes a lot of heart and compassion to even be a foster parent because you take care and love on this animal and then give it away because that's what fostering is.
Yes. And like the whole thing of like, she's done this so many times and people have fallen in love. And I'm like, by the way, if she kept every animal that you wanted her to keep, you never would have met this one. No. You never would have met this one, never this one. And like, it's just, yeah, all this compassion for an animal while simultaneously talking so much shit on all of these fucking humans that like this whole like performance of caring to me, I just find like so disingenuous and like so fucked up. And this like, if you truly want to do this whole like, you know, like I just like animals more than people, then do not engage with people. Like then they don't make it anybody else's fucking problem. And then don't tear the humans down by the means of like this animal. And like she made the point, she was like, nobody loves this dog more than me. Like none of you fucking love this dog more than me. Like, so to come on here and essentially say that like she made the wrong choice about this and like she shouldn't have done this and like this is just so disappointing to see and like these people feel like clout chasers, like she's already increasing the eyes on this specific rescue and these dogs getting adopted. She's like, it's like a fucking commercial for these dogs and they make these dogs, she had 500 applications and now people are going to be like, I don't really want to adopt a dog that I saw online because people are getting fucking weird about that shit.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Don't be fucking weird.
Mine is, and this came across my burner TikTok.
Oh.
Because there's no way that it would have came across my regular TikTok in the way that it did.
Uh-oh.
Because my burner TikTok is only curated for one thing and one thing only. And that thing also is connected to Simone. So I don't even know why I got this Riley's video first, who's just complaining. And I'm like, what is this even about? I looked through the comments and everybody's like, Simone Biles is canceled. I've lost all respect for Simone Biles. And I said, oh, I'm on the wrong side of fucking TikTok. I got to get out of here. Quickly held it down, not interested, went and found Simone's videos and just liked them so that I could make my algorithm better. So in case you don't know what happened, I want to address this conversation that has garnered significant attention and touches on the heart of fairness, inclusivity, and empathy in sports. It involves one prominent athlete and one former NCAA swimmer, the swimmer being Riley Gaines and the prominent athlete being Simone Biles. Not just athlete of all athletes, greatest of all time, has been voted upon by many athletes themselves as, and not even in her same sport, that she's the greatest athlete of all time. They recently had an exchange on social media that brought into a sharp focus the debate surrounding transgender women athletes in sports. Riley has become a vocal advocate for banning transgender women from competing in women's sports, a position that she frequently reiterates. I'm learning. I'd never heard of this woman before. Her activism notably, and I use activism very lightly, notably escalated following the 2022 NCAA championship, where she tied for 5th place Again, 5th place. No one really recognizes that even as a place. If you don't come in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, no one cares.
You might get a ribbon. Participation.
And that's a participation ribbon. It's not even for 5th place.
Nope.
So she tied for 5th place with a transgender swimmer in the 200-meter freestyle. And then Gaines publicly stated that she felt cheated, betrayed, and violated by this experience. And this sentiment, while some believe that it's understandable from her perspective, is the foundation of her broader campaign against the inclusion of transgender women in women's sports. She has even presented at the White House when an executive order was signed to exclude transgender girls and women from competing in women's sports. However, Simone Biles, a 7-time Olympic gold medalist and a powerful voice for mental health awareness, offered a profoundly different perspective. She challenged Gaines' approach as not only as unproductive, but harmful. And she initially called Gaines truly sick and a straight up sore loser, referencing that 2022 tie. And then Simone later apologized. I think that she was forced by someone to apologize for her personal attack and acknowledge the complexity of the issue. At the core, Gaines' action remained critical because she's targeting children and transgender athletes. The inciting incident for this feud was Gaines' post mocking a high school girls softball team with a transgender player, claiming the team won because their star player is a boy. And then Simone vehemently condemned this, stating that singling out children for public scrutiny is unacceptable. Children, she argued, should never be the focus of criticism of a flawed system they have no control over. And this highlights the key points of their divergent in ideas. Simone has been a consistent advocate for mental health and lends weight to her stance. She understands the immense pressure that athletes face and the importance of a supportive environment. She told Gaines, no one in sport is safe with you around. She is also not just not talking about physical competition. She is addressing the psychological safety of athletes, particularly those from marginalized communities. Simone suggests that instead of bullying, the focus should be on uplifting the trans community and finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue for trans people to feel safe in their own sport. So Riley's position, I guess, is rooted in personal experience of being a loser, often manifests exclusionary, while Simone's point can devolve into the public shaming of young athletes. Her quote-unquote activism appears to be driven by a singular focus on banning rather than engaging in the complex work of making an equitable and inclusive framework. I just, again, had never heard of this person. Maybe I did in passing, but they did not make a blip on my radar until this happened. And I think that her perspective calls for empathy, respect, and a commitment to finding solutions rather than diminishing any member of the athletic community. Riley's approach, in contrast, risks fostering a culture of division and resentment.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I'm just so happy for you that you didn't even know who she was until this moment.
Thank you so much.
What?
And also, if I hadn't been on my burner, I wouldn't even said. I did see a video of Simone just like on a PJ laughing, and I didn't know what it was in reference to. So out of context, I was just like, okay,
love
Simone.
to see a girl. Love to see my girl smiling.
Yeah. But
happy
it was in reference to this. Yeah.
Love that for you, girl. No, Riley Gaines is, who was that other person that I never told? Oh, it was Andrew Tate that you didn't know about.
Yeah.
For a long while, and then I refused to corrupt you. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, you're not going to tell Melissa? I was like, no, she's living such a lovely, blessed life. Like, why would I? And then when you were like, finally learned about that guy, I was like, no. Riley Gaines is another one up there. Like, just like imagine being such a loser. And like, to me, there's also a little bit of a humiliation kink because like
5th place.
Yeah. Like
Tied for fifth?
Tied for fifth, and you're actually going to, like, quit your athletic career and, like, campaign on the fact that, like, you should have been fourth place? Or you shouldn't have tied with anyone for fifth?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, like, I actually probably wouldn't repeat, like, or, like, make sure the whole world knows that, like, I'm, like, a subpar trying to be elite athlete. It's just, and also, like, specifically for a sport that actually you can go to the Olympics for.
Was it fourth place or was it fifth and sixth place?
No, I think she technically tied for fifth.
Yeah.
So
they would have been fifth and sixth place.
Yeah.
But
like, again,
so it's even
not
worse.
Even
so it's not even fourth place. It's even worse.
Like, and again, like, swimming is like one of those sports that I'm like, Katie Ledecky makes a lot of money. Like, there are, like, you can become, that's one of, like, the USA's, like, favorite sports to root for in the Olympics. And, like, there's not a professional swimmer outside of that. Like, there's not, like, a WNBA for swimming. So, like, there are people who are quite literally living their life, being famous and making money off of being a swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, so you actually, if you were good, but, like, this is so embarrassing.
It's such a, like, 10th of a second type of thing. Like, you were fast, but not fast enough.
No.
You're faster than most people, and you should have just been happy with that.
No, she's, like, so fucking weird. And she, like, quite literally retired to, like, go on, like, Donald Trump's, like, campaign trail and, like, stand up there with him. Like, she's just, like, really fucking weird. And I have to say, like someone said, I would feel unsafe around her. Like, her obsession with a lot of kids in college are underage. Her obsession with their genitalia. It's very spooky. It's very unsettling. And as you know, fate would have it, she has an incredibly punchable face. Yeah. Oh, her original plan was to become a dentist.
Mine too.
I was about to say, you and Riley got something in common. She's big against spiritual warfare, which really just tells me you are your own biggest op. Like, you're just not very good.
Yeah.
And that's from some bitch who can hardly swim.
Oh, you're saying hardly now.
No, that's some bitch who can keep her head above water for an unknown amount of time, and I'm not trying to find out how long.
Right.
I keep watching that fucking video of that woman being attacked by the sea lions.
That was scary. I don't know
Melisa,
how you could. That was a horror film. I don't know how you could watch it over and over again.
Melisa, because I keep having nightmares that somehow we're going to end up in that situation.
We'll never even be in that situation.
Like, first of all, you have to get on a boat. I'm not doing that. We have to have up close and personal with animals where they can touch us. I don't even want a haunted house where they can touch me.
I've seen seals and sea lions. I know that they're different animals, but they look the same. One's just bigger than the other. Walruses, all in the same.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, but no. Walruses, no. One is tusks.
Big tusks. Yeah, but they still, if you take away the tusk.
Well, sure. Evolution, okay? Yeah. They're all banana slugs.
If you take away an elephant's tusk, it still looks like an elephant. You know what I mean?
Well, everything in the ocean kind of evolved a little bit slower. But yeah, they came from that same cell.
But all those animals, they like to fight. I've seen them climb onto, like, a whole beach and just take over the beach. Why would I swim to them?
What you need to know is animals without opposable thumbs, animals who have those tiny little fins and big bodies, they want to absolutely crush you. Like, they have so much anger issues, because just imagine how annoyed you get when, like, your arm gets, like, stuck in your sweater and you're trying to do all that. They have so much pent up rage and aggression, and all they have is they're all torso. They're all core. And you know how they say Pilates core is the most important part. They can absolutely fucking wreck you. And also, like, they're not friendly. And, like, I think in general, like, sea animals that look like, again, the same body, but the body type, not to generalize, that we're talking about. Like, dolphins, not to body shame, but dolphins are...
You take away dolphins' fins and they're... push their nose in.
Same fucking thing.
Same.
And marine biologists will say, you bitches have been duped. Dolphins are the meanest fucking animals in the world. They, like, kill other animals for sport, for fun. Don't even eat that. Like, they just go, bye. Literal absolute menaces.
They
kill you, and then they laugh, and then they're picturing it's your face, and they're just inching closer, waiting to absolutely backhand you. So the fact that this woman got on a boat to go on an excursion to see the sea lions, and they're literally in her face. And by the way, where are the other humans? I feel like they sent them out too far.
Yeah.
I can't stop watching that TikTok, though. I'm so afraid it's going to happen to me. And I know that I have to get on a boat. Like, I know that, like, there are I can't just end up in that situation, but it is becoming my irrational fear. Like, it is becoming an irrational fear that I'm just going to it's going to happen to me.
No, because you won't be in that situation.
No. I'm so glad she had a life vest on, though.
Yeah.
I would have drowned. And they would have laughed at me. But they probably have a deeper one, like a... That's what they sound like, though.
I know. That's why I made that noise.
Was phenomenal.
Thank you.
They do all sound like they're mocking now that we...
Yes.
Yeah. It's just a lower decibel of mocking.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. If anyone wants to see that, I'm sure you can maybe just look up... See...
I don't know, but that shit... I didn't even make it through the whole video.
The fact that she added the, like, scary fucking music...
I didn't have the noise up.
Oh, no, she's a comedian. She's funny.
Well, that's our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, if you'd like to participate, you can send us an email to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com or fill out our form that is in the show notes or in the bio. I haven't made my little post in a minute, but I wanted to make sure that we're giving attention to the ones that we have right now. But still remember, write in. Join us tomorrow for See You Next Tuesday. Wednesday, use that day to catch up or listen to an old episode. Could be a new favorite. Thursday, we've got Don't Blame Me. Friday is Fisting Friday. And then we'll be back on Monday for a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong?
We'll circle back. Goodbye.
You were on top of it that time.
I didn't want to embarrass myself again. This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.